You all, we are not licensed professionals. You know, we are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, you know, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. We will be discussing season 1 of Steven Universe, which will include direct dialogue of season 1. And so there's spoiler alerts if you haven't seen season 1, if you've never watched Steven Universe, if you don't want to know what happens, if you don't want to know what's going on, please stop it right now. That's it, folks.
Honestly, if you haven't seen the show by now, that's on you. So the show's been over for like 5 years.
I don't know what to tell you. Some people be waiting. You never know. Just do
we're
it.
We're going to go to nuclear war at some point. You better start today.
Bitch, people don't even know how to shoot guns. You talking about nuclear war?
I'm not talking about these little randoms on the street. I'm talking about it doesn't matter. If you this is the only spoiler you're getting. Hello and welcome to another fandabulous, fantastical, whimsical, expeditiously amazing episode of the Friendship University podcast. I'm Miki, doing our intro today, joined by my amazing might I say, co-host.
Oh, wow. Are you?
I have work on the brain.
Wow. Woo!
We're never getting that album.
Not Beyonce. What Rihanna say? Woo! Like she was Whitney Houston and
She really thought. She really did. No disrespect, Rihanna. I love you. I'm really excited for the new album whenever it comes out, if it exists. I'm sure the baby's doing good. Rich, which is already doing better than I am. So
life. Talk about life on a higher note.
It's crazy how some kids are just born already having a better life than someone who's been here for 26, almost 27 years. But, no shade, no disrespect, you're just a lucky sperm and egg, so happy for you. But yeah, we're back after a bit of a hiatus last week. Life fell apart for me, and Kristen was on vacation, so yes. I think let's start on a high note, and we can talk about your trip to
Mexico.
There we go.
Yeah. So, as Miki said, I'm going to tell him, the vid got you after almost 3 years.
That's not the only thing. Okay, I guess we'll start on my note then. So we can start on a lower note.
Wait, something else got you that I didn't know about? Wait a minute now. I knew the vid got you because you tried to bother talk you while me you into were on coming vacation. In. And I was like, I can't chance it.
I didn't want to. You were on vacation. I wanted you to have a good time.
What happened?
So I had the vid, and then my uncle died.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Unfortunately, it was cancer. We expected to have a little bit more time with him. Not a tremendous amount of time, but more time than we did. But yeah, he passed a week and a half ago, I think. Maybe a little shorter than that. R.I.P. Uncle Anthony. He's not my actual uncle. Like, he is by marriage, but we're not blood related. But had some pretty fond memories with that guy. He always had, like, the funniest stories. He's always was very wise. But also kind of like that circa boomer wise, where like some things they say are like what? Like wooden nickels. He probably would have told me not to take wooden nickels.
If you did not hear the last episode a couple of weeks ago, because like he said, we were on a hiatus, wooden nickels, please listen to it. I learned what wooden nickels were for the first time, my first time hearing it, and
it's gonna save your life.
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna save. It's gonna save you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I'll miss him, but you know, he lived a long life, and he was really like amazing. He was like the most gentlest little man ever. I love him. But yeah, enough about my depressing life. How about your exciting life?
Well, this is the last thing I'll say. You are remembered by the way you have made people feel. So, hello, Loki. You're here to finish us off. Finish me off, really. Our mascot has made an appearance, but yeah. So the fond memories you have of him, I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, our manager just got Loki together. He'll be back. He's always back. Yeah, Mickey said I was on vacation. I went on a girls' trip for a birthday for one of my friends to Mexico, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do 7 days total, 3 cities. So Cancun, Tulum, Playa del Carmen are the 3 cities that I did, and it was an amazing time. Mickey, when he first saw me, told me I got black.
You dark.
So
like I know you're an islander, but like I can really see it now.
But I haven't, since you've known me though, I haven't been home, so I haven't gotten a tan like that.
You've been Americanized.
I've been Americanized. I mean, granted, I have traveled to other places since you've known me, but I don't know if we were as close, so maybe we weren't seeing each other as often. But when I do tan, I do look like, oftentimes I'll get like Middle Eastern and just different things like that. I like myself tan.
I think you look great.
I love being tan. It definitely being there. They tell you don't drink the water in Mexico, and don't. But the water on my skin helped. I don't know if it was the salt water. I don't know what it was, but
that's like clear water too, right?
Oh my God, it was beautiful. Like I haven't seen water like that in years, like since pre-COVID, which is like, it was so amazing.
I've only been in murky water. I'd be
the
in the
water
Atlantic
in Spain
Ocean.
should have been clear.
So the water in Spain didn't really matter because
was it cold?
No, girl, because everyone was dying. We talked about this in one of our first episodes. Demolition Derby, head on head.
Oh my God!
Listen, I'm gonna run through it real quick. You can listen to that episode. 2 people headbutted, someone broke their finger, and someone broke their foot.
And all water sports were closed for the rest of the trip.
They were still out there having a good time. I promptly got up and went back to the pool. And I had the pool to myself for like 2 hours. It was great.
Well, to be fair, Mexico did experience like rainstorms. So we went during what's considered hurricane season. Like I believe hurricane season is from like September to like January.
What hurricane was that? What hurricane just happened? Ian. Hurricane Ian. Were you down there during that?
No. And it didn't hit the parts of Mexico we were in, but it did. The parts we went to got the aftermath, right? So a few weeks before we got there was an influx of like algae and stuff that made the water murky. And some of the locals were telling us that as we got to the beach, and we were like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. We were looking at things online, and they were like, yeah, it had literally just got clear like a week before we got there.
Nice.
So praise Jesus.
Well,
water clear. Went snorkeling. Saw turtles. Saw fishies. I actually, surprisingly, I've never been snorkeling. I've been deep diving, but I've never been snorkeling.
I'm good on both. If God wanted me to be in the water, I would have gills. So I'm gonna stay where the water is up to my knees. But it is, because here's the thing. On land, we're the apex predator. And this is not me trying to be like, we're alpha male. But here's the thing, we are though.
If
We've dominated the planet.
Jungle on land and a tiger or a jaguar and try to put your thumbs into a jaguar's eyes and see him claw you to pieces.
But that's on a 1-by-1 basis. I get that's true. But what I'm saying is, on a whole, the humans have dominated. Yeah, we're the strongest thing.
If it was a group of us,
it's a wrap.
You have to have people who are on the same accord though, because if everybody run.
But in water, I can't breathe underwater. Yes, I can swim. I can swim pretty well. but I cannot swim as fast as a shark.
You don't have to. So, okay. So, to be clear, understanding where sharks are, we weren't anywhere near where sharks typically. Now, this is not to say a shark cannot go rogue and be in random water, but we were nowhere near where sharks predominantly live. And snorkeling means you get the goggles, you get the breathing tube, and unless you want to go all the way down, like me, I was being ridiculous. My on the first tour, my tour advisor was like, no, senorita, come back. But on the second one, when we went on the bow-legged one for $20, he was like, go as far as you want to the coral reef, and that's what I did. But they tell you, all you have to do is look down with the breathing tube. It's in your mouth. You breathe through it. You don't have any worries. That's what snorkeling is. So snorkeling is literally like, have you ever seen people with the goggles?
I know what snorkeling is.
So you don't have to go down, and you can breathe, and you can just look. It's literally like if you were floating in the water upside down with breathing.
I can't believe you just women-splained snorkeling to me.
Is women-splaining a thing?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
I will say this podcast makes me remember traumas that I have. Just randomly, like I will never think of these things naturally unless something brought it up.
Not suppressed.
So like we went on a Royal Caribbean cruise, I think, when I was younger. This is before I could really swim. Like I could swim underwater a little bit, but like I was still getting the hang of it. Mm-hmm. We stop off on one of these ports or whatever, and this guy's like, banana boat rides. If you don't know what a banana boat is, it's when a regular boat pulls people on this tube that
don't be
looks
ready
like a
for
banana.
A banana boat. Yeah, and don't be ready if you're not ready to get on a small boat.
So we get on the banana boat. My mom, my dad, my sister, and I.
Y'all big people. All y'all got on that boat?
Yeah, we all got on the boat. I was small at this point, though. I was like...
Not big. Let me rephrase that.
Tall.
All of y'all tall people.
I know, but I was like 9, so I was... So I was like still kind of short. My sister, she's a midget, so I'm sorry.
She's
that
not.
is
She's
culturally
a little bit
inappropriate.
She's a little bit under you.
She's like the Hobbit of the family.
Because all of y'all are
tiny,
giants.
mighty, feisty.
Classy, boozy.
I don't know about all that. She listens to this podcast. Hey, girl.
Okay.
So nice to... I'm so happy I came over the other day. Thanks for ordering those pants for me. But anyway, back on track. So old boy is flicking us around on this banana boat. We all whipping, right? And then somehow, some way, I don't know if he did it, I don't know if my parents did it, I don't know what happened, but we all go flying off of this thing. And at this point, I'm like...
Did y'all have life jackets on?
We did, but there's a problem with that I'm going to get to in like 2 seconds.
Okay.
So we fly off of it. We all go in different directions. And I'm so small and so skinny at this point. I don't know how much I weigh at that point, but I was really tiny. I go flying so far into this deep water, and because I was so skinny and lanky, I slipped through my life jacket.
That wasn't because you were skinny and lanky. Yes, you probably were, but they didn't put the right size life jacket on
Probably
you.
That too. So I slipped through it, and all I remember is opening my eyes and looking down and seeing nothing but like blue.
You went down into the ocean?
Yeah, I fell. I didn't know how to swim properly.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to visualize. That's what happened. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I got flicked off. I opened my eyes, and all I saw was blue abyss. And thankfully, my dad is a really good swimmer, and he came to save me. You know, there'd be times my dad be getting on my nerves, but I remember that boy. He cares.
For you.
He does care. He raggedy too, just like his daughter. But I love him. Just like his wife, too. The whole
I cannot believe you have died this many times in your life.
I didn't almost drown. I held my breath, but like my dad did come save me. No, if you
would have kept going down, you would have died.
It was terrifying. So I think that's where my fear of like open oceans come from. That and like Titanic. No one really gets this because you see it in a movie, but Titanic in real life was like pitch black. Like, could you imagine being on this boat in the middle of the ocean and all you see anything but the stars?
But the stars and the lights on the boat.
And the lights went out.
I think Titanic was staged. You know, I don't know if you ever heard that conspiracy theory where they talk about the tycoon who made the Titanic and he was going bankrupt.
Oh, he made a Titanic 2 and sank it or something like that?
Well, no, he made the first one because he was going bankrupt. And he knew, like, he was going bankrupt, but he had got all these people on it, so he, like, staged it. Because if you really, you know what, I don't know a lot about boats to talk. I don't know what icebergs and all that look like. The movie made it seem like you could have avoided it. But, you know, what do I know? That makes so much sense now. I never knew why you had a fear of open body water.
I hate
You never talked about it.
I forgot.
We talked about going on.
I still
like
believe the shark
or
thing.
Something.
I still believe the shark thing.
I guess for me,
more so whales.
Growing up around like those type of like sea creatures, not sharks per se. Yes, I did see sharks because my uncle was like a fisherman, and we would go on like these small boats and see them. And if you know anything about a fisherman boat, like a small boat, you're not like, if it's not a full-time fisherman where they have like bigger, what would be considered a smaller yacht-ish boat, if it's like just a regular fisherman boat, you're pretty close to seeing, you're right there. Whatever wants to get you can jump up off the. So I just grew up seeing that. I mean, deep diving, I saw stingrays, fish, all types of stuff. It's just like,
that's
you
fair.
Just kind of learn.
I'm also a landlocked hoe, kind of, because I grew up in New York, and then I moved down to Georgia. So, like, beach wasn't really, like, a thing we did unless we traveled to do it.
Yeah, beaches are non-existent in Georgia. Ain't nobody going to Lake Lanier, which is not clear anyway. But even if it were clear, the amount of people who die, I'm good, love. I'm good. Enjoy. I haven't been to Lake Lanier since I was a youth. But yeah.
The forest, I'll be in that hoe all day.
Yeah, you will. We do hike. I love that. We did that too. I went to a museum in Mexico that was in the forest too. I'll show you later. But it was an amazing experience. This was my first huge girls trip, so it was 10 of us.
10
girls.
No, absolutely not.
And
it's not the girl thing. It's the 10 people thing. That's a lot of coordinating.
It was. I didn't coordinate it though. Shout out to the person who did.
Not shocked at.
It was the best friend of the birthday girl. The birthday girl did do it as well, but the best friend. Shout out to you. You are a true best friend. Like, you really did your thing on that, girl. You really know
what I have to deal with this one. So, congrats.
Hold on. First of all, I didn't have to think about it because when they told me, they had everything lined out verbatim. What I needed.
So is that what I got to do? Just pick it out and just be like, here's what you got to pay? There's a trick. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
If you line it all out and I have to think about nothing else and this is how much I got to pay, then that's what it is and that's what I paid. But this was my first time going on this big of a girls trip and with this many people I didn't know. So I only knew probably 30% of the girls, I would say. I knew. But everyone was amazing and everyone was like super friendly and super like just down to do whatever. And if somebody wanted to do something else, somebody was like willing to do what you wanted to do. And it was like we ate amazing food and got tans and had amazing drinks and had amazing conversation and learned a lot from each other. We had a few older people there who were like teaching us about like Airbnb and real estate and just like it was so much wisdom there. I was just like, oh my God, like it's so inspiring. Like it's so true. Like your mind sometimes will never your feet will never take you where your mind has never been. And so sometimes you need to see different things to like really get the gears turning. And it's been so long since I've seen something like that.
Right.
So I was like, wow. Like, yeah, it was very inspiring. But I am tan. I'm burnt.
Like I said, you look good.
I gotta get some aloe vera gel because my skin feels like a snake. Move like a snake. Move like a snake. Move like a snake. Move like a snake. Shout out to Kay and Nicole and her second baby. I hope her and her boo are doing well with the second baby.
You know, my only experience with Mexico was when I'll keep it short. Me and my family flew to whatever like the bigger Southern California city is. San Diego? Is that the lowest it goes?
And it's by Tijuana.
Right. So we drove into Tijuana. Not really knowing what to expect with that. I don't know what it's like now. And maybe we went a weird route. Maybe we went to a weird portion of Tijuana, so I don't want to disrespect anybody. But let me tell you.
How old were you when you went to Tijuana?
Probably 9 or 10. We went to Disney World and then we drove down there. We were in Chirac. It was crazy. Every car had bars on it. We went to the mall, and my mom was like, "We're leaving. We have to go."
I don't think Tijuana is a place for children. I don't know. The first time I've been to Tijuana twice. The first time I went to Tijuana, I was probably like 19. I went with a guy I was dating at the time. His parents had timeshare there.
Sounds like a good way to get kidnapped.
Well, they had timeshare in San Diego, and then we drove to Tijuana.
Oh, okay.
And then the second time, I was a little bit older. I was still in college, and I did everything that they tell you not to do as a college student. I made it out alive though.
That's all that matters.
Niggas trying to kill me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I get that. What I will say is Tijuana is literally nothing like the cities we went to. Nothing.
I would
nothing
hope
like
not.
them. Nothing
I mean,
like them.
from what I remember about Tijuana, it wasn't a very fun place.
If you go to Mexico, go to Tulum and go soon. Tulum is on the rise. Tulum is one of those cities where it's starting to become popularized. So they're building an airport there. They're building a lot of condos. Mm-hmm. They're building like everything there so people can come. It's turning into like a Cancun, a Playa del Carmen, all that. I'm so glad I got to experience it before that, because the only place I've ever actually been in Mexico was Cozumel. That was like for 2-3 days, I think.
I've been to Tijuana.
And I've been to Tijuana. And then I've been to New Mexico for 2 days.
Isn't New Mexico a state?
Well, I'm just adding that in there.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah. Good times with good people. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for the invite. So happy that I got to experience it. So happy that I got to experience people be talking about going on big trips and how it's such a headache, but we made it work. The villa we stayed in, everywhere I stayed was beautiful. Every single city, every single villa. We stayed in a penthouse in Tulum, in a villa in Playa del Carmen. Yeah, Cancun was nice, but I would say Tulum and Playa del Carmen were probably my favorite. So anyway, moving on, because if you're gonna visit Mexico, make sure you don't tell them that I sent you during hurricane season. I'm telling you right now, I went during hurricane season, and thankfully there was not a lot of rain. The only time it rained, I think we were in our taxi heading from Tulum to Playa del Carmen. That was the only time it rained, and it stopped raining by the time we got to the city. So don't be going talking about they tipped us and it was like it's not gonna rain. Hurricane season, girl. Do your research. Google Alicia taught me. So that's how I found out what it was gonna be, and I packed a rain jacket and never needed to use it. So if you are returning or if you're new here, let's just make it clear you can expect episodes from us every Friday, Friendship Fridays, and thank you for the co-sign.
It's been a week, okay?
That's fair. I'm extremely exhausted, honestly. Like, it's not a long flight, but traveling, we did a lot of outdoor activities and just different things like that. So, and then I had to come home and like get my home together, but I'm here. And so wanted to give you all another episode this week, because we missed a couple of weeks due to, life be lifing. But yes, you can expect those episodes from us every Friday. And as you know, we typically have our topics that we discuss every week. And, sometimes we do the intro questions. They just been hitting. Y'all ain't sent us nothing else for the, how do you say, icebreaker questions or icebreaker topics. So we waiting on this. So we going to keep running.
Submit a question and we'll think about giving you a $10 Chick-fil-A gift card. Think about it.
Words mean a lot to Mickey, so take that as you will.
Highly considerate.
No, you don't have to reinforce that. They know. If you know literal meaning of words, then we're going to be discussing. We're going to do an episode this week where we discuss one of our shows and we talk about how friendship is displayed in pop culture. And so we're going to be talking about Steven Universe Season 1. This week's question is going to be, Mickey, we took quizzes to see what gem we were. And it was a slew of gems. It was not just if you've watched Steven Universe, they're our main character or our main vitriol of 3 gems. There were a little bit more than that. But we took a quiz to see what gem we would be. Mickey, what gem did you get on your quiz?
Before I tell you, make it sound so simple. 3 gems. These 3 gems are like humanoid. There's like alien species.
Why are you trying to say like that?
You made it sound so simple. This show is complicated. For these little 11-minute episodes, it's wild. But anyway, I got my favorite gem, Garnet.
Wow.
Garnet is the leader of these group of gem aliens. She is the baddest bitch out. The way I can really describe her is like mix circa 2001 super cool no emotions Alicia Keys with bad bitch like Beyonce now. Where she's always super chill. She always like has her head on straight, like nothing really overwhelms her, or she doesn't really show that she's overwhelmed. She more so bottles it up and like deals with it by herself. She's like the more stable one, the one people tend to go to for like help and advice. I personally think I really jive with that. I can keep myself pretty calm under really awful circumstances, probably because awful circumstances happen like every 72 hours like clockwork. So I'm just used to it at this point. And then like once the dust settles and everything's fine, you know, I've saved the day, the people are good, I go to my room and cry for like, you know, give or take, 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
That, and I also have like a lot of anxiety. One of Garnet's abilities is that she can look into the future. And I have a habit of trying to look into the future and determine what's going to happen. I'm usually right, mainly because I have anxiety, and I force futures to happen by acting on my anxiety. But that means I'm right.
In season 1, yes, there are a lot of right turns with Garnet, but if you keep watching Steven Universe, you'll learn. She oftentimes thinks she's right, but...
And she is. And she is. The Crystal Gems would be dead without her. D dead. Who'd you get? I already know who you got. I looked at your phone.
I mean, I actually got Garnet too.
I know you did.
I'm just saying that because I know season 1. He thought I was gonna get Pearl if you ever watched, but I don't even know why. Because honestly, like, yes, I keep order, but Pearl is so like. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not even going to explain it. If you watch it, you watch it. You know, you know. If you know, you know. But I knew on a certain level I was going to get Garnet because she is like a very loving person at the end of the day. And that's what I normally am. Like, I love people. I feel like that's a part of my purpose, my ministry, of what I do, just to love people and not have a closed off heart from the people that take advantage of that sometimes. And I know that burden. And so watching her in that show really resonated with me. And I was like, dang, like sometimes you really do have people who like make you want to be hard, but like it's innate in you to not be hard. So, but deep down inside you require and hope for the same things back. Like you want love and support back eventually or whatever. And so we see that kind of like unfolding. Various episode, yeah.
I will say my favorite thing about Garnet, and we both do this, is she keeps it real. I'll never forget that mailman was like, "I love you," and she said, "Start with an N, then an O, period, the end."
No,
and that was it. And I was like, "There it is, there it is, my queen."
Garnet also. Many spoilers outside of season 1, so I'm not gonna talk about who Garnet really is because I don't think you learn about who she really is until season 2. She has her theme song like "I made of."
She does have a really good theme song.
You can't break me. I'm made of love or whatever. So
that show makes me cry so much.
I ain't singing the song. You ain't gonna sue me.
It makes me cry so much.
It's a very emotional show, but it doesn't. It is, but
it's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep. That show is a lot.
It's deep. So let's talk. So Rebecca Sugar, who is the creator of Steven Universe, is like, this phenomenal woman. The reason I actually started watching Steven Universe is because Rebecca Sugar was a storyboard creator and one of the main music creators of Adventure Time, and I used to watch Adventure Time a lot.
I hate that show.
I love Adventure Time. It's very weird. It's very weird. Cartoon Network. But I used to love Adventure Time.
No, that was from the new generation.
I love those songs. Why would you eat my sandwich? I bought it for me.
Absolutely
Why would
not.
You eat my
no.
Like, it was so good.
After they took Young Justice off of Cartoon Network, it was a wrap.
It was
there
so
was no
good.
reason for me to go back.
It was so good. And then I saw she was like starting her own show, and I was like, oh, I'm totally going to watch that. And that even watching Adventure Times, I could see like some of the same aspects from there into Steven Universe. So Rebecca Sugar, who I think she identifies as bisexual, she is married to a man.
Come on, bisexual queen.
Her partner is a man right now, but I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that she identified as bisexual. I'm not sure. Created it, and I was like, I'm going to watch this to see what's happening. So we started it, or actually not we, I started it, and it started kind of like episodically. Like it was consisting of like these episodes that loosely connected things, like what you could consider, I guess, some filler episodes. It was just kind of like, where is this going? It's gonna be funny, because even Adventure Time, like, it had some, like, it started off a little episodically, and then it got a little deeper and a little darker, and like they was handling things, and I was like, is this where Steven Universe is going? I don't know.
Steven's Universe. Steven Universe definitely was more episodic than season 1.
It did.
I almost skipped season 1 because I was like, I want to see the plot. Happy I didn't skip though.
No, because the show does. I think
it has a little bit. It hints at plot.
It's been, and let me just say, it's been a minute what am I trying to say? It's been a minute since Miki and I have seen season 1, because I think season 1 came out in like 2016, maybe.
I'm late to the show. I started watching Steven Universe this year.
Well,
it's probably been since 2017 since I've
at least. It's been at least since 2017 since I've seen season 1.
It's a lot of more so like just regular old, like, this is our friendship and cool, we have a problem, we solve it, and that's it.
Yeah, they start unraveling. There aren't as many filler episodes as you think. So we're going to kind of discuss what we feel and how we took on the friendship dynamics that we encountered and saw in season 1 with Steven Universe. So you want me to start?
Sure.
I can start. Okay, so I had to go back because I had to think about season 1, right? Because it's been so long since I've seen it. So this is how I broke it down. I figured there was Steven, who had like his coming of age story or whatever. He had his dad, Greg. There were the gems for now. The main gems that we saw, which were Pearl, Garnet, who we learned what that backstory is, and then Amethyst and Connie. We learned a little bit about his mom, Rose Quartz, and then there are a little. And there are a couple of other friendships we learned about with like Sadie, Lars, and Steph. So those are kind of like the relationships I remember from season 1. Let's start with the gems. What do you think about Pearl, Garnet, and Amethyst relationship?
With Steven or with each other?
With each other.
They're friends, kinda. Pearl and Garnet have like more history to go off of, and Amethyst is like the newest addition. By the time we get into the story, like, she's already there, but like it's hinted that like she's kind of new, she's younger, they don't really know her as well. I would say it's like a working relationship in the sense of they all have this purpose of protecting Steven.
Very much so.
And making sure that nothing happens to him and make sure he grows to be this incredible little adorable little child. I love Steven. If I ever have a child, he better be just like Steven or I'm kicking him out.
See, people say that. People be like, I want a child like Stewie Griffin, until they actually have a Stewie.
Why would you want a child like Stewie? Never mind. Y'all niggas are weird. So I think they're friends by association. Like, they don't hate each other. Like, they butt heads quite often, primarily in relation to how to raise and treat Steven, and handle certain situations with him. I would say it's kind of similar to, like, a marriage. Like, they all love each other and care about each other. And they like each other most times. But there's a couple occasions that are just like, look at your child. Look what your child did. And now we have to fix it. And you let this happen.
That's fair. That's funny you liken it to a marriage, because I feel like I don't particularly want my marriage to be that way. But
I mean, it's like my parents' marriage.
That is.
Except they didn't really like each other.
That is. So that is very like indicative of what I saw as well. Like Pearl and Garnet, those gems, they really like. I didn't think they liked each other in season 1. Like, it doesn't seem like they like each other at all. Like, they have beef all the time, and then they both feel like Amethyst is like a second child outside of Steven that they have to take care of. And Amethyst is like, you don't have to treat me that way. We learn about their backstories a little bit. I think the first backstory we learn about is Amethyst's backstory in season 1, and we learn about what happened with her and why she is kind of the way she is. But yes, there's this commonality between them where they have a mutual agreement where they all want to make sure Steven's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And so it's just kind of like, I mean, I think they still have like respect for each other, but
well, I say they like each other to an extent, because there's moments where they have like a little bit of levity and they enjoy a giggle together or agree on something. So I don't think it's like pure just like, girl, it's on sight.
It's
if this
not,
kid wasn't here.
There's not. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. Garnet and Pearl maybe. Pearl had a problem with everybody. Let's just say that.
Because Pearl's wild.
Pearl had a problem with everybody. Pearl and Amethyst, Pearl and Garnet, Pearl and someone else that comes out later in the season that I won't name.
Pearl and the mailman. This is wild. Pearl wants hands with everybody. If it's not,
she bitter.
Pink, whatever the hell her name is, she don't want it. Rose Quartz.
Rose
if
Quartz.
It's not her, she don't want it.
I was gonna say Pink Friday. Rose Quartz.
Oof.
Who is dead, and that's not a spoiler alert, because you're gonna learn she gone. Oof. Don't even look for her to come back. She's gone.
Good. Anyway, slight
but
spoiler.
I think what I noticed though, even in the intertwining of their relationship with each other, I felt like Steven knew they were like parental figures. Like they were supposed to be advisory boards and taking care of him and different things like that. But I feel like he thought they were friends too. I think he thought they were friends, like not in the sense of like you have your parents whom you like, okay, you grow up and you're like, okay, I respect your rules. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna do XYZ. Like I'm gonna respect you in a sense. But like Steven would talk to them, like confide in them, like try to make them a part of his everyday routine. Try to like incorporate them. Try to like tell him how he's feeling. Like he really trusted them, and like outside of a friendship level, like really trusted them in the sense of like, you're someone I admire. And right. I feel like we can be...
I think they were friends to different levels. I think it's like different kind of friendships though. So I compare like Amethyst and Steven. They're like sibling best friends where like they're interested in the same stuff. They are very immature. It's like either sibling best friends or like just like young best friends where like they're just like always an adventure, always getting up to some shit. They started wrestling at one point for some reason. They almost destroyed the city, I'm sure.
Amethyst took him to her homeland
a lot. And then when it comes to Steven and Pearl, that's more of like
that's a parental,
like it's a parental motherly thing where Pearl's just
Pearl
like,
never
you need
really
to act
opened
this
up.
way, you need
Pearl
to do
really
this,
never opened up for sure.
You need to have this way of thinking, you need to read whatever. And then Garnet's giving like the fun gay aunt.
But
Garnet
she'll
steer you the right direction.
Yeah.
She's not going to have you out here looking like a fool, but she's also not going to try to control you. She's going to let you be your own person.
But she's also going to make sure that you don't fall off the edge of the cliff.
Exactly. So she's going to make sure you good. Yeah, she ain't going to let you fuck around too much. If you decide
to say, I want to jump off this cliff.
She'd be like, that's not a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I like that because I think I like the concept of being friends with your parentals, right? So a lot of times people are like, I can't be friends with my parents. I can't be friends with my mom. I can't be friends with my dad. All these different things. And like, you don't have, you all cat wish you all had a camera here so you can see. For me, honestly, yeah, I am friends with my mom now. I will say that. Like, she is a friend of mine. Like, and not in the sense of like she's my mom and I call her and update her on my life, but like she's involved in everything. We talk about things. I go to her for counsel. I go to her for advisory. She's accountability partner, just different things like that. And I know that's not with everyone. I unfortunately did not have that time with my dad because he passed a little bit earlier than I would have wanted, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's cool that Steven has that. He talks to them kind of almost like they're friends. He understands that they are looking out for his best interest and like, for lack of better terms, what they say goes. He doesn't. Sometimes
Steven really be out here doing his own thing. Steven is the ultimate. You gotta fuck around to find out, little boy.
Yeah. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.
I mean, but how else do you figure out your powers? Like,
listen, my mom told me the stove was hot, and I never touched it. I just listened. Something about it. But I have a hand that's not damaged.
I have a hand too.
You touch the stove?
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Excuse me?
You heard what I said. Of course you would, because you also like to fuck around and find out.
And I find out, and they find out too. And look who's still standing with no scars on them.
That stove is fine, I'm sure. That stove, I'm sure, is also perfectly fine.
We don't support Boosie here, but I'm just saying.
Like I said in the car a few moments ago, every time I think of Boosie, I just imagine like really dark yellow piss that smells like asparagus.
Not even asparagus, because he don't eat asparagus. It smells like car fuel.
Please drink water, people.
It probably smells
literally 70% water or whatever.
You know how people say don't break your light bulbs? Please make sure. If you broke a light bulb, that's probably what his piss smelled like.
Disgusting.
That's why they don't want you to break a light bulb. It's pure toxins, ladies and gentlemen. Please.
Just drink water.
Do not ever let Boosie's piss out on the streets. We beg of thee.
Isn't he in prison again? I don't know.
Unfortunately, no. He's not. We got him out, and he did this to us.
He did that to y'all. I didn't ask. I don't even know who this man really is.
Well,
I know what I know about him is from The Read. Shout out to The Read. Love that podcast, by the way.
Words mean things.
Crystal Kid Fury. Love him. But speaking of parental figures with Steven, back on track here. I want to talk about Garreg, my actual favorite character in this entire show.
Yes, Steven's papa.
Actual blood father. He's a regular old human.
He's his padre.
He is the most adorable, kind-hearted, gentle little creature ever. Steven and him definitely have like a father-son relationship where like Steven confides in him and trusts him, and you know he's like there for emotional support as well as like just being a good old dad to his son. It kind of makes me sad sometimes, but I digress.
Excuse me?
It doesn't matter. It's super cute. But I think my favorite thing about their relationship is that he can really tell Garreg anything, and he's like, okay, cool, how can I help? What can I do to assist you? It can be him starting a band or aliens attacking or whatever. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but like, we're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out. Yeah.
And he also calls Steven Schnewball, and I think it's the cutest thing in the freaking world.
That is cute. I forgot about that.
It's so cute. Oh
I completely forgot about that.
Sorry, I'm having a moment. That their whole relationship just makes me happy, and he stays that way throughout the entire show. He's always there for his little boy.
I mean, yeah. So that's, I think, again, it's like Steven being so like open, and they sometimes have like friendship tendencies where it's like outside of you just normally trusting your parent, but you really want them to be involved in what's happening.
He's the kind of parent that like gives like I want my child to be their own person, so like I'm gonna let them do their thing, and he doesn't even live with them.
He doesn't. I mean, to be fair, he's not a gym, so he knows. He's very aware that there are things he cannot teach Steven that these individuals can teach him, and so he is very trusting. But when he needs to move in and be
right there,
Faja, he is right there.
I love it.
Right there. I do love Greg a lot. And you even like, we'll move on a little bit, but even talking about an unexpected friendship, I don't know if you remember, between Greg and Pearl later on in the season, because there was like this resentment.
Oh, that came a while. That was a while after.
I think it was in season 1 though.
I think they
season 1 is like 52 episodes. It's like long. It's very long. I think it's 52 episodes. It's double whatever a normal season.
The rest of the seasons are like 18, 20 maybe.
But so it's definitely 52 episodes.
And Pearl had beef because Garreg stole her.
On site. We ain't gonna talk about on site with Greg. It was on site. And I think in season 1 is when they reconcile, and they actually like, they don't, I was about to say something. They don't actually do the dance or whatever, what happens with that. But
no, we're going to stop you right there, because that sounded worse than it needed to. No, there is no explicit content on this Cartoon Network show.
It's no sex. It's an actual like dance to do something for a power. Like, no. If you watch Yu-Gi-Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Dragon Ball Z fusion dance.
Yes,
there we go.
Yes. Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z. I was
just like,
you know what's happening there. You know what happens when you summon the demon card. Well, all that, the demon dances or whatever. So,
as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I find that really offensive, but
that's what happens on Yu-Gi-Oh though.
You have to use polymerization.
It's a fusion monster. That's what it's called. You call on a fusion monster in Yu-Gi-Oh. Is that not what it's called?
It is a fusion. We're not doing this.
It's a fusion monster. So
Yu-Gi-Oh's gotten really complicated lately.
Listen, you're talking to a person who just found out, not just found out, but I just started watching Dragon Ball. Not Dragon Ball. It says Z. I've been watching Dragon Ball on Crunchyroll, and I'm like,
that's honestly the superior show in my opinion.
This is like, it is.
It's the best one in my opinion.
So good.
Dragon Ball Z is way too long. Good.
One of my friends got me on it because he was playing the Dragon Ball game, and he was like, I gotta learn this story arc because I don't know this. I only watch Dragon Ball Z and blah blah blah. I was like, there's a Dragon Ball?
Yeah, Dragon Ball's pretty great.
And I watched Dragon Ball.
It's great. Even though Dragon Ball Z has the best character, which is Vegeta.
Well,
Vegeta has such a good character arc.
I'm still impartial to Naruto. That's still my like.
You know those are two different shows, right?
I know, but that's why I'm saying I'm still impartial. That's my show.
I love Naruto. We should talk about Sasuke and Naruto's relationship one day.
Yeah, and Sasuke
or
for
lack
me.
Thereof.
Sasuke for me has one of the best overarching plot lines I've seen in my youth. Let's say, because as an adult, I've seen more anime, obviously, but like as a youth, I was like, wow, this is why I'm reading the manga. I'm reading this for this. Even I was reading Bleach, this, all that. But anyway, yes. So the gems, I think we can come to the consensus that they're not really friends, right? They just have in season 1 at least.
They have a working relationship.
They have a working relationship. They have a mutual agreement to keep Steven alive for untold circumstances that you'll learn in various seasons later on down the line. I do think that Steven thinks they're friends. He doesn't really understand that they are just trying to keep him alive. Mm-hmm. I think at this point and I think he's that with everybody, right? Like he just does that. He's just like a friendly person. Mm-hmm. When we took the test, it said gems, but I was like, maybe I'll get Steven. I don't know, because sometimes I'd be like, okay.
I feel like no one would. You have to be like the perfect human to get Steven.
I don't know, because
I feel like
let's be clear. Let's be clear. Steven is not perfect. He is not, but
he's so innocent.
He is innocent, but he is also a tragedy. And even when he learns truths, he will fuck some shit up.
That's true, but he always does it from a place of like love and like understanding. And
no, sometimes it's from selfishness.
That's fair.
Sometimes it's like, I want to know what's going on. You niggas is hiding stuff from me. I'm going to figure out it on my own. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's not a good thing either, because he's almost made the planet go obliterated. But surprisingly, spoiler alert, not spoiler alert, we have 5 seasons, so the planet didn't obliterate. But in season 1...
No, it didn't blow up.
No, I mean, we got this many seasons with the same planet, so... Oh, maybe you don't know it's the same planet. It's the same planet. So, here we are. So, let's move on to Steven and Connie.
Let's do it. Connie ain't fucking with him in the beginning. I'm not gonna hold you. Connie said, I am a straight-laced, all-A's student, and I will not have this Neanderthal fucking this up for me.
Connie was a POC, and she said this white person was not gonna fuck with me.
She's not. Connie's parents said, girl, books, school, that's it. School, that's
books,
it. Get home.
Extracurriculars, school.
No alien stuff.
Come back. They didn't even have to say it. She knew.
And then here comes Steven with his bubble.
But it was a mishap. So I think it's so funny because I do feel like a lot of my friendships have started the same way that Steven and Connie's friendships have started.
From a situational distress.
That was like unavoidable. So... Well, spoiler alert if no one's seen this episode. Steven sees Connie beforehand and he becomes a little bit like infatuated, I guess you could say. And she's like reading a book and he sees a cliff about to fall on her. And he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want her to die. She's about to be obliterated by this rock. And then he goes up to her and one of his powers is a bubble, is an indestructible bubble that you can encapsulate yourself in. So he encapsulates himself and Connie in this bubble.
In the bubble.
And they start drifting. And then they keep drifting.
They eventually fall in the middle of the ocean.
Yep, and they fall in the middle of the ocean. And Connie's like, okay, so where do we go from here? And Steven's like, I do not know how to pop the bubble.
And we're in the bottom of the ocean, girl.
We're in the bottom of the ocean, so they're just like chilling. But eventually they unfold. No, Connie eventually she tells her backstory about her parents.
That girl has a mental breakdown. She's just like, there's so much in life I haven't done, and I'm gonna sit here and die in this bubble with you. This is crazy.
Yeah, she's like, what if no one remembers me? And yeah, it's kind of tough. I thought I actually was gonna get Connie at a certain point, but
I could see that.
Connie. But Connie's not a gem. Not a gem off rip. But let me tell you something. Nah, my girl Connie be holding it down.
She really do be holding it down.
In the later episodes, she really do. Spoiler alert again. You put that on before, because people probably don't think Connie gonna make it.
Is it a spoiler alert for a show that's come out like 6 or 7 years ago?
I'm still saying spoiler alert because people just
no.
Be
the
ridiculous.
Spoiler alert only goes but so long. Like if I'm talking about a movie, if I'm talking about Spider-Man from 2001 or whatever, I'm not saying spoiler alert. That movie's been out for 20 years. You need to have seen it by now. I have like a 5-year range. Like after 5 years, if you haven't seen it, I'm not spoiling nothing. If you wanted to see it, you would have saw it by now.
Wow. Okay, that's fair. So, my favorite relationship and friendship that developed was Connie and Steven. I think for me, like seeing it be in that bubble And both of them, it was kind of like I feel like I'm about to die, so I'm like burying my soul type of thing at first. But even after they figured out they weren't gonna die, it was like sweet. It was like very sweet, very kind, very gentle. Like, and I think that's what I like about Rebecca Sugar, because even though like I'm a very like honest person and I try to like talk about what's happening and I try to like, okay, this is what it is. This is how I feel. I always feel like I try to like do it in a very like consensual manner, like where people don't feel attacked, because I never want people to feel, because even after like, what I remember is I think the bubble popped and Connie was still furious, I think, when the bubble initially popped, and then she calmed down and she was like, okay, well, we're here. And I think she was furious because her parents had pulled up. I think that's what happened. I don't know exactly. Again, it's been almost a decade since I've seen the first season of Steven Universe, but I think that's what happened. And she was like, okay, Steven, I'll see you later. And then we see her later in season 1, and they don't even reference the bubble. It's just like, we're friends now. And that's what's happened with like a lot of our friends. Like, the mutual friend we have, she thought I was a plant. And
we're still trying to debate that one.
Well, I'm here. If I'm a plant, bitch, I'm in your house planting my shit.
Ooh,
Pussy badass.
Absolutely not. We're no longer saying that name on this podcast ever again. I don't remember how that episode ended. I think it's probably what you said. Honestly, it's supposed. I
don't know. I think that's how it ended.
The
Her
episodes
ended so dramatically every single time. Connie really had a traumatic. She was really torn, like,
because that Neanderthal had her out here.
No, it wasn't.
And her parents were also a little.
I was about to say
controlling.
it was her parents. It was really her parents, because even I think in season 1, Steven learns to fight something, and Pearl is like, if you're gonna back him, I gotta teach you.
That didn't come till later.
Maybe that was season 2 or season 3.
Yeah, she didn't start learning to fight till later.
Yeah, and she learns to fight. She's like, that's my man. I'm gonna stick beside him.
Which is also funny, because like, it's like suggested they have a crush on each other, but like it only ever stays as friendship.
It stays as friendship, like the whole time. Like a really
adorable, innocent
friendship. And maybe that is what we lack, because sometimes you can reserve someone as romantically or aesthetically pleasing. Like, I have seen people that I'm like, wow, you really look good, but I don't want to be with you. Like, I just like the way you look. I like the way you talk. I like the way you speak. Like, I like what you're saying. And we can be friends. Like, just because I am attracted to you doesn't mean we have to be friends. And I like the fact that that happens with Steven and Connie, because Steven notices Connie first, but then they get trapped in the bubble, and then that happens, and then he doesn't even like press anything. He doesn't even say anything. He's just like, okay, this is what happens. And then they just become friends, and it's so pure. And for me, like, I have had so many instances where I have thought, like, this guy or this person of the opposite sex, or not even of the opposite sex, because sometimes it can be the same sex. Like, I trust this person. I like this person. I want to confide in this person. And they have ulterior motives. And they're like, okay, well, I want to get with you. I want to do this. I want to do this. I
think that's also a problem because we're adults. They're children.
No, even when I was younger, like in college.
I mean, they're like children. They're not having sexual thoughts yet. Or at least I hope they're not.
Do you not know children?
Steven's like 10 in the first season. I was not having sexual thoughts at 10 years old. I think
Steven Universe came out in like 2016, maybe? I think 2016 is when Steven Universe came out, which was very much so an adult range of kids. Like, they were
I'm not
like...
talking about real life kids. I'm talking about Steven as a character is like 10 in the first season.
But Steven did like Connie.
I'm not saying he didn't like Connie. I'm just saying it was more of like an innocent kind of liking versus like what you're experiencing as an adult where you're saying...
No, like, I'm not talking about sexual. I'm just talking about the same thing. I'm talking about like not wanting anything more than a friendship.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Like, a friendship is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about sexual. I'm just saying, like, you encounter these people and you're thinking like, oh yeah, I can be chill and I can be XYZ, and they don't even just want you to chill with them. Like, they're just like, if you're not doing XYZ, we don't want you around. Period. And so for me, seeing Steven and Connie have this relationship, I was already an adult at this point. So, with my own place, but I'm like, wow, that is beautiful to see that. To see them.
He be putting Connie through the ringer. By extension.
Connie be putting him through the ringer too.
That girl, emotional
Because she thought she could
damage.
She thought she could handle the gyms until a gym
handled her. But as far as Steven's close relationships, because I was going to say he has relationships with people outside of the main group of people, which he does to an extent, but I'm just going to sit here and say it right now. They ain't his friends. He's the nice towns boy who goes around and everyone knows, and he's super sweet, and like that's great and all, but like there's a character named Lars who's like the wannabe cool kid, but like is actually kind of sweet on the inside.
No, he's a jackass.
I mean,
Lars is a jackass through and through.
Until the end, which I'm not going to get into it, but he has a change of heart towards the end, which I really appreciate.
The very end when he's about to die.
It also explains like where like his attitude comes from, which I can personally like really jive with, but we'll get there at some point. So I'm going to say he doesn't have a relationship with Steven because he bullies Steven. Steven's too oblivious and innocent to realize he's being bullied. There's a girl named Sadie. She works at the local donut shop.
Yep. Lars.
I feel like they have more of like the... How do I put it properly?
Sadie is
like the
honestly...
local store worker and like the regular that comes in. Like they have a little banter. Like she knows his order. You know,
Sadie is honestly the most moral person of season 1. Honestly.
She be doing nothing.
Exactly. She is the most moral. Like, she be really chilling. Like, she be like...
She's here for the donuts.
She come in and somebody don't pay for it. Let's say somebody gets 4 donuts and they only pay for 3. And Lars be like, they only pay for 3. And she be like, it's fine.
Sadie be getting on my nerves. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna hold you. Sadie be getting on my motherfucking nerves sometimes.
Why?
She's a pushover.
She's not. You think she's a pushover?
In the beginning, she's a pushover. And I get being people pleasing. I have people pleasing qualities, but there be times I'd be like, girl, you need to beat his ass on site.
Lars is a terrible person.
He is really awful.
From the start to the finish.
I said, towards the end, I like him a lot more. Lars does have a change of heart, though. I mean, yeah, he has to go through some pretty extreme circumstances to do it, and he probably wouldn't have done it otherwise, but I am happy that he did it. People change. Things happen. You get traumatized. And you become a different person. And then, my favorite relationship Steven has outside of the main crew is Onion. Because Onion is out here.
Tell me why please tell me why you love the relationship between Steven and Onion. Because like I'm trying to figure out why. I love Onion, but Onion and a relationship? Okay. Tell me.
It's just chaos. Onion's like a cat. Onion is literally like a cat, and Steven is his like owner. He just wants to have fun and play, and you know, sometimes his fun and play causes mass destruction, to this entire city of 24 people. But it's just adorable. That and like every character in this show, like you may not like them in the beginning, but somehow, some way, Rebecca Sugar will have you love them by the end.
Yeah, very much.
There was numerous characters. I was like, I want them to go. I don't want them on the show. I want them to disappear. And 2 seasons later, I'm like, I fucking love you. I love you so much.
You learn the backstory. You learn. Let me tell you, no character is honestly recycled. I guess I could say, like,
no, everyone has their own backstory. Yeah, everyone is unique. You think
about shows, and you think about like somebody who like introduces some like random person, and it's like, oh, because like even on Adventure Time, she was the main storyboard, and there were various characters that were introduced. God, I can think about various characters introduced to Princess and just different things like that, and we never saw them again. But that is not the case for Steven Universe.
They show up and they stay.
They will show up, stay, have a backstory, do what they need to do. I think my favorite moment of season 1 was Connie and Steven Universe being in that bubble. I think for me, it is indicative of a lot of the friendships that I've had, where there is an unexpected instance that happens, and it causes us to connect, right? So, like even with the mutual friend that we have, she did not want to be my friend. So I was like, I'm not being fake. And she was like, I can't trust it. And they got sick. And I was like, okay, I'm just do whatever. When they got sick and I went over and I did whatever. And it was like, all right, well, I guess you my friend forever. And that was it. And I started going over there, and it was just like,
now look at you.
I was like giving decorative advice and doing all things. Like it was just like, even with that, even with the friend that I have with that's a couple of cities away, the same thing. It was kind of like, okay, I don't want to be friends with them. And then we like connected on something, and it was like, huh! And it was just like,
I don't know where most of my friends come from. I'm pretty sure they just be like hitchhiking. They just like show up one day and then they hear. I'm like,
I think the same could be spoken for us too. If we think about,
I don't know where you came from. I'm kidding. I know where you came from. After you helped me with from my shitty ex.
And Tyler, that was what happened on Steven Universe. It was a bubble. Happened. We was in a bubble. I was there. I don't know who told you. I don't know who told you I was good to talk to, cause you wouldn't have trusted not anybody. Cause I know you. You wouldn't have trusted anybody. She must have told you to trust me.
I had to tell somebody, cause if I didn't, it would have been murder.
So you met him first?
Yeah, I think she trained me.
Hey.
Also, I ain't gonna hold you. I was really confused for a couple seconds. I thought I was in a different universe because you started talking about something that I thought you already talked about, and I was like, "Didn't you talk about this?"
You and Steven Universe.
I was like, "Did I bounce to?"
Steven Universe.
Which number are you?
She's 1. You're 1.
Oh my god!
I won.
This isn't the same universe.
No. What you saw was 2.
359.
Oh, she was 3.
No, the from my universe is 359.
She was 3 though. 3 being the operative number.
Interesting. Anyway,
watch Steven Universe if you ever want to learn about dynamics with friendships, about parental figures, friendships, about people who you feel have been designated to you to take care of you, aunties, uncles, just
it's as pure as a friendship with a cat. It's adorable, it's fluffy, but occasionally it will rip your motherfucking heart out. Honestly, if you have childhood trauma, just watch the show. That's what I'm gonna say. If you have childhood trauma, just watch the show. it's not going to cure your trauma, but it'll probably put you in therapy, which will then help you with your trauma.
It'll give you a starting point too, because
I've referenced Steven Universe in therapy before.
Yeah,
I've definitely referenced it before.
Final thoughts, Miki. Friendship, season 1, Steven Universe.
Lots of potential for some really strong friendships in there. My personal highlight season 1 friendship, which honestly is my favorite friendship throughout the entire show, period, is Garreg and Steven. I know that's his dad, but there's something about that relationship that just
there's a
hits me right in the heart.
There, for sure.
And yeah, it's just a really great show. It teaches you a lot about friendships, love, yourself, relationships with people, responsibility, all this other stuff like that. So if you haven't started watching it, which again at this point you probably should have started doing that, I really recommend it. Like, you should definitely go watch it.
One of my favorite relationships is between Pearl and Greg.
Pearl and Greg, that's a good relationship.
Yeah. At the end, it's just really like, wow, you never thought these two would like ever connect on anything, and then they come up. So, we are ending our episode. If you've watched the season 1 or any seasons of Steven Universe, message us, email us on whatever platform you desire. We are on Instagram. It's Friendship University on Instagram. We are at FUNI Podcast. That's Funny Podcast on Twitter. You can also email us at the Friendship University Podcast at gmail.com. So, whatever you desire, let us know. We are here and we are having fun.
Why do you sound like a ghost?
A ghost, bitch.
You sound like you were just fading away.
I am, because I'm tired as fuck. I'm fucking tired. Like, I've been deep diving, snorkeling in the sun, here, there, everywhere.
Sound like
tired,
damn
bitch.
Wednesday Addams over there.
And Wednesday Addams, I would imagine, is tired.
She's a queen. I love her. That whole family.
I'm tired as fuck. I'm tired.
And that's going to wrap us up on another interesting episode of the Friendship University podcast. Once again, I'm Miki, joined by my raggedy co-host.
Whoo, been called worse by better.
And I've been called better by worse. Mm-hmm. Don't know what that means, but it doesn't matter. You can end the episode, though. I don't even know the last thing we said. I feel like we might be ending on like a really awkward point where it's just like the end of a thought and then that's just it.